to Mechs, Myth, and Magic, episode 8. I am Tony Avila, and I am joined by two other gentlemen. I'm going to need names, and I am going to need your last completed comic arc that you read.
Wow, okay. My name is Dante Dante from DanteDreams.com.
Still got a website.
Yes. Danticus on Twitch. The last complete story arc that I read was House of X and Powers of X by Jonathan Hickman. The new rebirth of the X-Men. It's beautiful.
Hi, I'm Brandon Parrish.
Yeah!
Yay!
We're so happy to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. At Parachute at Instagram.com. Do what you say Instagram? I never go on Instagram anymore. I hardly ever do. Let's see. The last comic arc that I remember, man, it's been a while. I think it was Walking Dead, probably.
Ooh,
Yeah,
did you read all of it?
I did. Yeah.
All of it.
Wow.
All of it. And I'll say this too, like my comic arcs I usually read by the trades because I have kind of fallen short on the collecting comics anymore. I've lost too many. But the way that I would go and read comic series is I would go to Barnes & Noble and I would pick them off the shelves and I would read. I would just go take an hour or two and just read a trade.
I have a good buddy who does that too.
It was just,
wow.
I mean, you can do it at the library too. So. But that was probably the last one I completed.
Nice. Yeah. I don't think I gave mine. So
no,
the last complete arc that I read. So I'm in the middle of the Powers of X that you have lent me. So I'm not going to say that I've completed that one yet. Although I love Hickman.
Hickman is the man.
He's getting me back into comics. So I see snapping.
Yes, I remember. Well, I remembered. I don't know if it's not exactly complete, but as much as it's been written. But there is a friend of mine who is in the church, in our church fellowship, that's in
South Carolina.
South Carolina. You probably know
yeah.
Sanford Green, and he wrote Bitter Roots, and that is an excellent. It was so good.
Bitter Roots.
Bitter Roots. It's
okay, I'm gonna have to check this out.
Amazing. Yeah, it's so good. It's like it's steampunky, turn of the century. Has a lot to do with black culture, and it's awesome.
That sounds
super cool.
great.
He's illustrated for Marvel and DC, right?
Yeah,
Image.
He's done Image,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, he big time illustrator.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I'll shoot you I think he's at Sanford Green.
Okay.
I totally want to meet that guy.
Yeah.
He's so down to earth too.
Maybe you can put in a good word for us.
I will definitely.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Try to get him down to MegaCon one of these days.
Hey, there you go. That sounds like a plan.
Score.
That sounds like a scheme if I've ever heard one.
He can stay in my hotel. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So the last completed one I did, I think, was the Resurrection of Richard Breiter.
Ooh.
That's a lot of R's. The Resurrection of Richard Breiter, the Nova comic.
Oh, yeah.
So, Richard Ryder has always been my favorite comic book hero. So when they killed him off back in 2011, I will never forgive Marvel for doing that in such a way that they did.
Did he go out like a punk? Did he go out like a punk? No, he didn't.
No, he didn't go out like a punk.
He went out like a hero. Yeah.
In the middle of probably the most hype Nova series, or like time frame. The character has never been so well written and so prevalent and made such a difference in the Marvel comics. And then they decide, like, well, we're ending this whole arc, so why don't we just kill Richard with the arc?
Wow.
And not only did they kill Richard in the arc, spoiler alert, they killed Peter Quill with him.
What?
Really?
Was this the Cancerverse thing?
How in the world?
This was the Cancerverse, yes. And then later on they went and retconned it and were like, no, they actually didn't die. Richard just died in order for Peter Quill to get out of the dimension that they were trapped in.
Oh, okay, so they retconned him back into
he just one day appeared back into the comic books. Yeah. And it took him like 2 years to revisit how he got out through like PTSD
2 years
episodes.
to figure it out.
Wow.
So yeah, they finally decided to explain what happened, and then after they explained, oh man, I want to say that was Bendis, Michael Bendis.
I love
really Bendis.
Yeah,
Bendis,
during his
Bendis.
run on
look it up.
Guardians of the
You
Galaxy.
don't know Bendis?
No, it's time I look it up.
Oh,
Look
okay.
up who wrote it.
I would guess Abnett, but I don't know.
So and I can't remember. It was Jose something. I want to say it was Jose something that brought back Richard Breiter. But that was a great comic because it kind of introduced Richard, in the midst of us having the second Nova, Sam Alexander, who's a lot younger, and
Kid Nova, yeah.
yeah, I was totally prepared for them to do like the older, younger Nova mentor thing, and they didn't do it. No, they kept Sam and the champions, which oof, I'm not gonna get into the champions, but
I don't even know about the champions.
Yeah, kind of like Kid Avengers, but ones that you don't care too much about.
Yeah.
And Richard went
Young
with the Guardians
Avengers.
of the Galaxy.
Thank you very much.
No, because the Young Avengers are the Young Avengers.
There was a Kid Avengers?
More like
The champions, I think,
East Coast
I feel
Avengers?
like are more like Kid Avengers.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Distinct to theirs.
West Coast Avengers.
Great Lakes.
Great Lakes Avengers. Yeah.
With Squirrel Girl.
Nice. Yeah.
Do you guys know that Squirrel Girl and Wolverine had a tryst and had a thing?
What?
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, let's not go into it. I'm sorry, I brought it up.
Please don't.
Sounds like a furries episode.
They have to put.
boy.
They have to. Wow.
Let's not go there.
They have to put.
We're rated
Wolverine
PG.
everywhere. That's so ridiculous.
So you were saying Richard Ryder?
He's
They killed him like that. I was like, they should have killed Wolverine off in the early aughts. You know,
You
at
think
least
so?
after
Yeah.
the new Avengers, maybe. Yeah, he's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this is we had this on a previous episode. He was my favorite character growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just he just got so played out. It's like he's oversaturated. They should have killed him and killed him. I don't know. I didn't read the Death of Wolverine series, but
I did, and I really liked how they dealt with that because in a lot of ways,
you like how they killed him.
There's something poetic about him and the way that he goes out in
Okay.
that comic arc.
Other than the adamantium.
I thought the adamantium was a very nice touch. To be
Okay.
honest, I mean, I know some people were upset with it.
See, the way I would
You
have
talking
killed him
about
off.
Old Man?
No.
Right.
Oh, in the comics?
He died
Yeah.
off for
Yeah.
like a year or two.
Yeah,
Like
and then
during
they brought it
this-
back again. So
Of course they
Yeah,
did.
I
after
think was that the Wolverine in Hell was the
I'm not
where he
sure.
was resurrected.
That was
that was intense.
after they killed 616. After they killed the Marvel Universe, it was when they brought it back. It was kind of weird. There were no X-Men. I stopped reading for like a year or
When
two.
was this?
Is that it?
For
Was
the
that
resurrection of Nova?
Yeah.
No. So that is
No. The death of. No, you said the Cancerverse, right?
yes. So that the Cancerverse is in the Thanos Imperative.
Okay.
Was the name of the arc, and it was a separate comic from the.
That was the name of the
Nova-
arc. Is Thanos Imperative?
Yeah. So
Okay.
there was 36 issues in the Nova Volume 5. I think it's Volume 5.
Okay.
Which ran from I think 2013 through 20 no, it ended in 2013.
So it was
Dan
written by-
Abnett.
Dan
I was
Abnett.
right!
I was gonna say, yeah, Dan Abnett
Yeah.
and Andy Lanning is
Yeah,
the
DNA.
DNA.
Yeah, man, I love that arc. I love those writers. I wish it didn't come to that, but it did, and anything else is just complaining.
That's okay.
Yeah, well, I stopped collecting after they killed Wolverine. They ended the Marvel Universe with Secret Wars and all that, and then it was a weird Marvel comic book
The
universe.
Hickman Secret Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Battle World? and
Battle
all that?
World.
Yeah.
So and there was a weird year after that without the X-Men.
was.
And
Yeah, I read a little bit of the new, and I collected some of the comics of when they went back to get the original X-Men to come back in. What was that?
All
arc?
new
yeah,
X-Men.
All
All
new
New
X-Men.
X-Men. Yeah,
That was great.
That was a great
Such a
comic.
That was
great
so
one.
good.
I need to go back and read that. I gotta take a visit to Barnes and Noble. Oh no, it's B. Dalton now. Did you hear that?
Take a
No,
look
Vito?
behind you. I think I might have some.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Barnes and Noble left Oviedo Mall, and now it's B. Dalton, which I thought was
Really?
dead.
Good, because
B.
I'll
Dalton
do
was
that. They
like
don't-
back in the 90s.
I know
I'm
that they
serious.
closed in Waterford Lakes, and it's going to be
Yeah.
a Nike.
Yeah, they closed in Oviedo. But anyway, now we're off on a tangent.
Yeah.
Tangents.
Listen to us
Tangents.
talk about our local bookstores.
Okay. Books are important,
What
kids.
it's like
Your
as
best in
someone living
nerddom
in
and
Central
geekdom.
Florida.
Yeah. B. Dalton's is back, baby. Seriously, B. Dalton's. I haven't heard that name since the 90s.
Yeah.
I thought they were...
Yeah.
I saw a
That's
band
an
the
old
other
school.
day.
Anyway.
Books a Million. That was
Books a
interesting.
Million.
Oh, Bam, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, back to the podcast.
Yeah. So, man, I've been loving the Hickman run on the X-Men.
Yeah, I believe that's where they brought Wolverine back. They just brought a bunch of dead people back.
Yeah. So I gotta touch on this though.
Yes.
So you think they should have killed him in the early odds? We would have never have gotten the Wolverine from X-Force if that were the case, though.
Really? Oh, okay.
Did you not enjoy X-Force?
Actually, I didn't read his part in that.
Oh.
I read some. I read a little, and it was a nice twist to the X-Force. It was a nice,
It became a clandestine assassin group.
assassin group, and I love the uniforms. I have an
Deadpool's black and white uniform is very different.
Wolverine gray, black, and red eyes. I got that
Yeah.
action figure.
Well, then,
mean
and you
looking.
also wouldn't have like Dakin and X-23. They wouldn't have shown up. When
So-
did X-23 show up?
She first showed up in the X-Men Evolution cartoon.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't know
and so I got schooled once by a friend because they would all come to me for comic stuff, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "That's not true." And he's like, "Yeah, it is." So he was very much a Gambit. Gambit appeared in the
that. Yeah.
90s X-Men cartoon,
90s X-Men,
and she was introduced in X-Men Evolution.
Oh wow!
And
I
then
didn't
made a
realize
comic
that.
appearance after that.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I
dude.
did not know that.
I will forever remember being humiliated. So,
What are you talking about?
no, I got schooled by a friend who was like, "Yeah, this is where she first appeared." I was like, "That's not true."
That's like Harley
yeah,
Quinn.
in front of all our friends who used to come.
Harley
to me for
Quinn,
college.
appeared
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Batman the animated series. Yeah.
And what was the old, like the guy from Batman Begins, the bad guy from that?
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul. He was originally from the cartoon
yeah,
as well, I
yeah.
think.
Was he?
That was such a weird arc. It's like a resurrection pool. What's that?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So Talia al Ghul and all them, they're originally. Man, Nolan, man, I know what he was doing in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
So if that was introduced in the Batman the Animated Series, then we would have never have gotten Red Hood had it not been for those arcs, because Jason Todd being put into those resurrection pools being driven insane, like that's
Hey, which one was the Robin that came back as the Joker in Batman Beyond?
I want to say
Batman. Oh,
in Batman Beyond. Ooh,
It was
that's
one of
different.
them.
Oh.
Really? Jason Todd again?
I didn't
I'm
know
going to
that.
take this moment to acknowledge the man on the computer in the corner. Eves, do you remember who,
I don't know that much about
the third one would have been Drake? Tim Drake?
Burt Ward.
Burt Ward.
Stop.
Showing up in his underwear.
Oh wait, that's the actor.
I don't want to wear my underwear on the outside of my pants.
Wow.
Make a fashion statement. The original X-Men uniform was that. They were wearing blue tights with yellow shorts on the outside.
That's a simple
So
cosplay.
it was...
Yeah, New Mutants too.
Tim Drake. Oh, that's so sad.
Which one was Tim Drake?
Tim Drake is the Robin that becomes the Joker in Batman Beyond.
But which Robin was he before that?
He in the comics I think currently goes by Red Robin.
Yeah, he's Red Robin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Got beat up by Damien too.
yeah, he got schooled by Damien. Damien by far is
Damian
my favorite
Wayne?
Robin right now.
Come on, he's almost supernatural. He's like a clone of Batman with
Yeah.
like, I mean, with the ghoul line. Come on, he's a ghoul.
I think for me he's a very interesting character because he starts out so talented, and it's kind of one of those things where Bruce Wayne doesn't have to train this child on any of the acrobatic stuff. It's more like he has to train the child in humility
And humanity.
restraint. Yeah, and it's
Oh,
such
okay.
an interesting dynamic of like, son, listen, you can't just beat people to death. You know, like you can't walk in there and just kill them. That's not how life works.
Okay, so I missed the entire Bat family thing. I
Mhm.
was totally into Civil War and like the Marvel, comic books.
I was
What-
like touch and go with all that stuff. I remember reading the exposure I've had to like Batman recently was I read a little bit of the heavy metal. Is that right?
Heavy
Black.
metal.
No, what is it? The one with the
Batman Who Laughs or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
heavy
Yeah.
metal Batman.
That was a cool series. I want to
Oh,
finish that one, but that's
I
like
don't think I've caught up that
Throw,
far.
yeah,
throw out some Batman comic arts like arcs. Like where can I read the Batman family stuff? Do you know?
So how far back do you want to go?
Well, the stuff you were just talking about, teaching Damien.
Okay, so Damien comes in. Let's see. issue 700. I think Damian was introduced in the early, towards the mid-aughts.
Okay.
And,
yeah, about the Civil War period.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the arcs that introduced him. Man, DC is not my foray. So a lot of that stuff, I read, and I just remember a lot of the events and things.
That's why I want to know the proper trades to get. So that's something we'll have to research. Maybe I'll
revisit that.
I'll just post that online later on. Overlay. Right here.
I know from
podcast
Batman.
Sure.
I specifically remember in let's see, this would have been about 2010, 2011, walking into a comic book store, talking to the owner and being like, I want to read Batman, but I don't know where to start. And he immediately pointed me to, I think it was Batman Cataclysm.
Year one is a good place to start too.
I own Year One.
Yeah.
You know, and I was one of those people.
It's
What do I do with it?
It's like the stuff. It's with the new stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm all about Dark Knight Returns. I have Batman Year One, Batman Year Two. So classic 80s, 90s Batman.
Yeah.
It's like what's happening now because it's radically changed. They've like rebooted.
New 52 was another one that I started back with it, and with the whole Court of Owls story arc, which Court of Owls was.
I've heard good things. I just don't know where to start.
Batman Incorporated was very interesting. It was this idea that Bruce Wayne thought the world needed Batman, not just Gotham. So he decides to financially sponsor and franchise Batman all over the world.
That's great.
And it was really cool to see these heroes already operating in their cities, and Bruce Wayne just appearing to be like, "Hey,
you want to be Batman?
I can help you with that."
So did they become Batmans for their city, or did they continue with their?
I think a lot of them did take on a Batman type moniker, and some really cool people came out of that.
That's a
Batman who laughs.
Because it really does play into Batman as a millionaire, like that he can franchise his name. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And I mean, side by side, Marvel was doing the what was it? Not the Avengers Project, the Avengers Initiative.
Oh yeah.
Where suddenly Avengers teams were appearing up all over the United States.
The Avengers machine.
No.
Avengers Initiative was at post Civil War. That's when they were getting all the people that registered. I'm sorry, I was thinking about something else.
Yeah, it was around that same time that
Avengers
Batman
machine is
Incorporated
taking.
So, but yeah, man. As far as Batman goes, though, I think so I picked up at around the time where Damian was first introduced as a Robin, when he became a Robin, and spoiler alert, Batman did die, quote unquote, for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And there is a whole comic series called Batman and Robin, where Dick winds up picking up the mantle, and he has Damian as his Robin, and it is by far one of the most fun.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, oh man, just the psychology that it dwells into. There's a moment where Superman sees Dick wearing the Batman costume, and he loses it.
Oh
He's like, take it off. Yeah, he approaches him, and he's like, you have no right. And he's like, I'm the only one who can.
I have every right. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, it was that comic series.
Son, come on.
Yeah, it was. Batman and
Where
Robin.
can I read that? Do you know the title of that?
Batman and Robin, and you can find an omnibus of it.
Was that the Jim Lee? Was that Jim Lee? The Jim Lee one?
It may have been. Either that or it may have been Miller.
Jim Lee is probably one of my favorite artists.
Oh, for sure.
So
He's so good.
I remember picking up one of the books and seeing Batman with batons. I was like, that's not Batman. I
I'm
couldn't figure out what happened.
gonna have to Google that one too.
Dick and Damian's relationship is very interesting. Where you have Batman's actual son, and Batman's like first son, and the dynamic between the two of them, and the relationship that they build, and the friendship that eventually comes out of that is like prime comic book storytelling. I really enjoy it.
Okay, so I want to cross it over because we haven't talked about the Batman.
Oh, the movie! Yeah. We're about a month late, but let's do it.
I know, but we can't talk about Batman without talking about that movie. Right?
So what did you think about it?
I thought it was excellent. I think I still am kind of wavering between whether that kind of tops Dark Knight for me, but it was up there. It's up there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely
I was very impressed. I thought, I mean, gotta admit, vampire tween did a great job.
He did.
Pattinson did it.
They had some shots of
job.
him where he was just perfect Batman. I was like, that's Batman. He just looks perfect as Batman. You know, they had great shots in there.
To be fair, when they announced that Christian Bale was going to play Batman, I had not seen American Psycho, so I was like, the guy from Newsies?
I've been a fan of Bale since '89, so I knew he could have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Empire of the Sun is my second favorite.
That is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Which one?
Empire of the Sun.
Oh my gosh, really? You like that movie?
Yes, I love that movie. That is so. One of my best friends who joined the Marines, that was his movie. Like every time we would hang out, that movie came up. And about every other time, in some way, we would reference it or like watch a clip.
It's so rare to find someone who likes that movie. That was my #1 movie until I watched it so much that it got played out. Then I was like, okay, this is my #1.
Yeah, that it's hard for me to watch that movie because it's just I'm an emotional wreck by the time that it's over.
It is,
Yeah.
dude. It's like, it's
I
lost.
believe that is a Spielberg movie.
It is,
Yeah.
for sure. It's
I
part of his.
don't think I've seen it.
You don't think you've
Ooh,
seen
I-
Empire of
you
the
can-
Sun?
you can borrow it
Oh,
from me too.
man,
Who's
dude.
it? Who's the main character? Is it?
Christian Bale is a
Bale.
12-year-old.
So who's the main character?
Christian Bale.
Oh, he's the main character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the
Yeah, I
story
know
of
that.
the movie is that Christian Bale is the son of a British, I want to say diplomat in
Businessman.
China. Businessman. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's financially up there. In China at the start of World War II, and then Japan invades, and the war, World War II breaks out.
Yeah.
And his character goes through all these trials of surviving that war. And it's
It's on my list. I have above my desk. I have it's a poster that it's like a bucket list, cinematic bucket list, and you like scratch off the things.
oh, it's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list. So
Nice.
that'll be on
We
the
should
list.
definitely.
Yeah, you need to watch it soon. I'll lend it to you. It's really good.
But anyway, yes, I thought Batman was terrific. I thought the just cinematic constitution of the whole thing was outstanding. I did have one qualm, and people are probably you guys probably disagree with me on it, but I did not like Barry Kilby, whatever his name is, as Joker. Just say it.
It was so brief. It was so brief. It's
But
hard
yeah,
to tell.
have you seen the release?
No, I haven't seen it.
I'm
deleted
not
scene?
going to judge the deleted scene because it wasn't in the final product.
I suppose, yeah.
I
But
like that
I don't-
actor. I like that actor.
Okay,
But,
yeah, I mean, I like the actor, and maybe, I guess, maybe part of it is what they decided to do with the makeup. I get it, you know, but he's just I think he's way too disfigured for my taste.
Makes sense.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It looks more
like the actor.
royals than,
Yeah, but I just.
Well,
it
it
wasn't
fell into
right.
a vat of chemical.
And I
this
will
is
say
not
too-
the
No?
case with this one. This is a disease for this character.
And I will say too that I wasn't a fan. I think what really didn't impress me about it was I wasn't a fan of his laugh.
Yeah, it was kind of squirrely. It was a little squeaky.
Yeah, I think it was still too. You have opinions? You have thoughts over there?
Do the laugh.
Oh, can you
wow.
imitate the laugh?
Don't
His
acknowledge producer. He doesn't have a. He doesn't have a mic. He doesn't have a mic. He doesn't. Exist.
No, the
I
man
don't-
in the chair.
Man, I
He's
can't.
our man
I
in
don't
the
know
chair.
if I can do so. Nothing beats Mark Hamill. I don't think.
Yeah,
anything
he's probably
beats
the
Mark
best.
Hamill as Joker. But
Best voice for Joker.
what do you think?
So,
Yeah,
I feel like it's apples and oranges.
I
Because
guess so.
we got that comic run that introduced the idea that there's been three different Jokers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this was another Batman comic. Bruce Wayne. I want to say this run had him inherit some kind of all-knowing power. And the question that he decides to ask is, who is the Joker? And the answer, I think, is revealed that there were three Jokers. There wasn't one person. And so,
Mind blowing.
looking through the different Joker personas that we've had through movies, you can see it. Because you have like the psychopath, which is Heath
Yeah.
Ledger,
Okay.
the crime boss, which
Yes.
is Nicolas Cage. And,
Nicolas Cage.
or not Nicolas Cage, Jack Nicholson. What am I saying?
Jack Nicholson, yeah.
Jack Nicholson. And then the clown.
Superman.
Which is
Mark
Mark Hamill.
Hamill, and what was the first?
Jared Leto?
No, the very first.
Caesar Romero.
Caesar Romero would have been the clown. Based on those personas. So, I feel like moving forward, it's going to be very hard to judge Jokers with the idea that there are there's 3 different archetypes. Jared Leto was hard for me because he kind of fit into the crime boss one, while at the same time he was psychopathic. But I did not like that performance because it felt so inconsistent. It really did feel like he was trying a bit hard. And I mean, kind of the heels of Heath Ledger. It's difficult. It's super difficult because that performance is you almost want to say groundbreaking. People didn't just it changed the way that character is viewed.
Well, we can't forget Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
And I thought
Who would I think fall under the psychopath?
absolutely psychopath. I loved that movie. Man, it was a rough movie just like emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it really died. It was a different comic movie entirely. It wasn't a comic movie. It was a mental,
The psychological
health.
thriller.
Yeah, a mental health movie, and it was. I mean, it really did bring a reality into that psychosis, which I liked. But it was one of those things like, look, I like this, but oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking. Yeah.
So it's going to be hard for me moving forward to look at a Joker and compare it to the other Jokers, knowing that nobody's ever playing the same Joker. There's different types of Jokers to choose from.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. I don't know how to feel about Joker moving forward, other than I think it's time to kind of put him on the shelf. I really like the fact that we got
For a time,
Riddler.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad that they did the Riddler.
Who
I
felt
like
a lot
Paul
like
Dano.
Hush.
Yeah.
It did. It absolutely did, which is kind of unfortunate because I'd like to see Hush come in, you know. But if they do Hush, it's going to be very reminiscent
Of this movie,
of
yeah.
this. Yeah. So.
Well, I always thought that the movies were, they take a bunch of stuff and they put it into one. I kind of feel like Batman Begins and Dark Knight were like, year one, the Dark Knight Returns universe put together.
Yeah.
And maybe some other stuff too, so.
I will tell you, this movie by far had me freaking out over Batmobile like I've never freaked out
That
over
Batmobile
a
was
Batmobile.
That was sick.
So when you look back through Batmobiles, the Keaton Batmobile was like this weird Corvette-looking supercar,
Yeah.
right? And it was awesome because it
Weird,
looked like
awesome.
the whole thing was just a jet engine. Then you got like the really weird ones from the Schumacher movies,
Yeah.
which just look like.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, they don't exist.
They totally exist because from an art perspective, they're very creative and kind of like, oh, that's
They're pulpy,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, very pulpy.
Yeah.
Bale and the Tumbler. The Tumbler is like the most practical of the Batmobile.
Yeah.
You guys are distracting me with all.
Yeah, I just wish he would check his phone.
But this last Batmobile. All right, so if you haven't seen the movie, be prepared to be spoiled a little bit. Not on plot.
But not for a month.
When you look at this,
I guess I should have prefaced the whole Joker thing.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I went all over the internet. That's all over
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
It's easy to find. But this Batman is so unrefined, and
Yeah.
he's still learning.
It's almost year one.
Yeah, year two.
Well, they pulled it off from year one.
Yeah, they did. But this Batmobile really looks like somebody with a death wish would ride. Like the front end is just this solid block of metal meant to run into things, and then it looks like somebody just jerry-rigged a jet engine to it, as opposed to like it being integrated into it.
It was straight out of Mad Max.
It
I
really
love
was.
It. I loved it.
It looked
so
like-
good.
It looked like it took a psychopath to drive that thing.
Heck
You know?
yeah. Like a suicide mobile.
You really feel it. And when you watch this Batman is so focused, and he calls himself Vengeance throughout the movie. He's so focused on this mission of making the world hurt in the way that he hurts, making evil hurt in the way that he hurts internally, that by the time you get to the Batmobile and you hear that screeching demon of a car, you realize, oh, that makes total sense for where this guy is at in his life.
That was a great moment. That was like very reminiscent of Christine.
If you ask Dante and Eve, I was cackling when I heard that thing. I
we
was
were
ready for the carnage.
We were all. We felt the car right there. So good.
You guys already did the 4D thing, right?
Did we?
I don't think we did 4D.
East and I did, I think.
Yeah. But man, like, so I talked to my sister about this movie, and she's a Nolan fanatic. She absolutely loves those movies, so she was not very happy with this one. And I think it had to do a lot with the fact that this is a unrefined Batman. You know, we're getting to Batman.
Did she feel like it was a retread of the...
She didn't. She just felt like he should have been cooler. He should have been, you know, he shouldn't have been so dark. Why is he walking everywhere? Like, why? What's so intimidating about those footsteps? But I mean, like that scene where they're going from shadow to shadow to shadow. And finally, the one that he walks out of.
Yeah, that was cool.
Was that the one with the gun
so ready when. No, very early in the movie.
Oh, okay.
When he finally walks out and beats up that game.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I saw somewhere that someone was had a theory that the Joker initiate, or not the Joker, but it looked like the Joker initiate, the guy with the hat in the beginning, painted that he was supposed to be Robin.
What?
I mean, it'd be an interesting idea. I just don't see. I don't know if anybody could like substantiate that yet.
No,
I don't know if there's any material.
Interesting.
That would be an interesting thing though for the second
Theory.
movie.
Yeah.
But you know what? Is there a Batman villain that you have yet to see in a movie that you were like, please do this? Because I have one, and it would be bonkers to see him in a movie.
I can't think of one right now.
Well, Clayface.
That's who I was thinking.
Yes.
Oh.
I need to see Clayface in a movie.
I would love to see Clayface.
But I feel like Clayface is the kind of
that you couldn't really do reality. I was talking about
the
this.
DCEU you could have done it in with Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
After he fights parademons, if like some dude just like shows up as a clay monster,
Right.
that would have made sense. Not with the way that they're going with.
The hyper-realism.
Yeah. So, but man, I really want to see Clayface. I want to see that monster.
So my take on the Dark or the Batman is that I don't know what he's saying, but anyways, so they took the hyperrealism from the Nolan verse and they took it a step further. You know, so it's even grittier. But then this is a totally different Batman. It, like you said, unrefined. This is like year one, year two, like the beginning of, you know, he uses the flying suit for the first time and it's rough. He has a look of fear on his face when he's flying.
He smashes into a
He
bridge.
smashes into a bus and a bridge. But that's beautiful. It's like, okay, if that's the first time you're gonna do that, that's the reaction.
Yeah.
Come on, right?
It's interesting that they made his cape a squirrel suit, the flying squirrel suit.
Hyper real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did he like pull in the cape?
Yeah,
And then zip
cape.
on the squirrel suit?
Yeah.
Well, I think the cape. I think it was built in, from what I noticed, because after he released it or whatever, he didn't have his cape.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
You mentioned his drop pouch on his leg. Very tactical.
Oh yeah, I love
very
that.
hyper realistic. But I love this take. It was great. It was Batman the detective, not Batman the superhero so much. He's solving a serial killing,
The beginning of a detective.
Yeah, the beginning of a great detective.
He wasn't the greatest detective in this.
One, no.
But
You learn from your mistakes.
I love that scene where he notices the print and the photographer's like, oh.
But his arc, I love that Batman had an arc. He's totally different in the beginning in the movie from the end.
And then you realize that he had.
And then that end 10 minutes, I think I cried. I was feeling verklempt, man. I was like, oh, he's changed. He's like, oh, now he's a hero.
Yeah.
Now he's not vengeance. That was a beautiful illustration.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great writing. And that's what makes a good movie, I think, besides all the visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I loved it. Long movie. So let's change the subject.
Yes.
Something we all love. Let's talk about some Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's not. Well, it's not. How you're feeling like that? I'm just like we're wearing a pew pew beep beep beep
Yeah,
shirt.
exactly.
Yes.
How do you say, oh no? Is it just an oh no because it's just you're so excited? You're like,
I don't
It's
know
because
what
I
your
have
opinions
so many
are. So
opinions.
I know we are all very.
I want to start by saying this. I am a very positive individual when I'm not on this podcast talking about things I complain about. And I would very much like to be someone who gets excited and loves things and wants to share that love with everybody. But every once in a while, I have a hot garbage take. And today, I have a hot garbage
I
take.
am surprised because
Okay.
usually, like, I know a lot of your opinions. And
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
any
very
really
curious
negative
what
ones. So
your,
what are you talking about? I'm surprised. Go on.
By the way, these guys are not acting. Dante is
I am.
surprised.
I am very.
I'm
Usually
curious.
And you were saying you and I disagree on that. I feel like we have a lot of similar opinions.
We
especially
do.
on Star Wars.
I think we come from different sides of the opinions. Sometimes we'll agree on stuff, but we'll be coming from different areas. Unfortunately, today we're on two different sides of the wall here, and
the producer doesn't have a mic, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, he can shake his head all he wants. It's my time to talk. Thank you. No.
Let's hear it. Drop it out.
What's going on, man? What are you talking
I
about?
am not excited for Kenobi.
Really?
It took me about a week of rewatching that trailer because the first time I watched that trailer, I was like, "This looks great." Inquisitors and Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader again.
I was gonna say this is like an
Good.
evolving. This is an evolving opinion.
Yes,
the last
it
time we
is.
talked.
It has been. And
The only
Is
thing
it
that
the Fat Inquisitor head?
it started with that.
That's what it started. Yeah, that was the call.
And there's so many. I will say, like I say every podcast, you determine your own fandom. The things that you are excited about, be excited about it.
Make it go loud.
I don't ever want to rain on somebody else's parade. So what I'm about to say is totally my thing. I realized I had a hot garbage take on Book of Boba by saying that it really felt like they didn't try. And millions of dollars went into that. I realized a bunch of people got paid and they poured their hearts out, and it just wasn't for me. Half that series.
Because the other half was Mandalorian.
Yes, and that's why I like it. So I realized that was a hot garbage take. This hot garbage take more just comes from the fact that I don't need it. I don't need this story. I'm perfectly content with Ben Kenobi on Tatooine alone, like force meditating with Qui-Gon Jinn in my head for 20 years. I don't need a second fight between him and Vader. I don't need Inquisitors like coming to find him or getting so close. Now, I'm still gonna watch the series. It still looks very entertaining.
I think that it's a good position to have because now you're expecting the worst and you can let it surprise you.
I'm not even expecting the worst. I'm just kind of going into this like,
All right.
no. It's like I had a bowl of ice cream and then somebody just offers me cake. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed my Rocky Road ice cream. And now somebody's offering me cake and I'm just kind of like, it's there. Bro,
You
I'll
put
take
them
a bite.
together. You put them together.
No, I just finished my bowl of ice cream.
Well, there's gonna be ice cream in there, and then you put it in there, and then it's a big mix.
But at some point, the sugar hits you, and you're just like, I've had enough.
Then you go
It's
for
not
it.
that I've had enough of Star Wars. It's that we're consistently revisiting things
It's true.
that we've either explored in Legends, like the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi waiting for the reunion of Princess Leia and Luke and that mission that eventually comes, has been told several times through comics, through books.
Right.
It's something that's been explored, and I think I'm starting to realize what a lot of the backlash was when they got rid of the Legends material. Because I was perfectly fine with that, and I'm still fine with it. I like what they're doing. I like that we got Rebels, stories that have been told. But I'm at this place where it's kind of like, can we just move past this? Like, I'm more interested in hearing about what happens after The Rise of Skywalker at this point. I don't want any more original trilogy.
Yeah, they are definitely, mining these stories for sure. I can see where you're coming from in that sense. I really like the way that they're knitting it together. I think Filoni obviously has done a tremendous job with pulling things, the little bits and pieces from.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, from the other series and filling the gaps, so to speak. So in that sense, I hope there is some surprises in that, like filling the gaps of like I don't know, like where did Miles get the lightsaber and things like that. Like I don't know if that's going to be in this series, but I think that there's well, no, that's probably going to be more Ahsoka. I was thinking Ezra might show up. I think that's going to be more in Ahsoka's.
Yeah. I will say this: a lot of this.
I think I'm looking forward more to Ahsoka than I am to.
Absolutely, I'm right with you there. I am looking forward to Ahsoka. I am looking forward to whatever happens with Rangers of the New Republic, Mando season 3, the Rogue Squadron movie, whenever that turns out. And I think a lot of my, I will call it sugar overdose, sticking with that idea of the ice cream and cake, stems from the fact that I did not grow up as a prequel fanatic. I was 12 when the prequels came out, but I grew up with the original trilogy. I have the original trilogy. Like I read books about the original trilogy. I bought the action fleet figures of the original trilogy. That was my Star Wars. So when more Star Wars movies started coming out, I feel like I was at this cusp of like prequels are really cool and I enjoyed them, but I always longed more for the original trilogy than the current Star Wars that was there. And now that I've had enough original trilogy and we've gotten stuff that moved past it, regardless of how you feel about it, part of me is just like, I'm ready to explore new things, you know? I'm not done with Star Wars. I will love Star Wars to the day I die. I will watch all of it. I will read all of it. But I do feel like I've had a bit of sugar, too much sugar, and I need a steak. I need some salad or potatoes. I need something that's going to really dwell. And you know what? That might also do. If they go super, super deep into the Force, they will have me like that.
True, yeah.
You know, I don't want. Inquisitor sounds fun, but if they like have a lot of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon material, or the Emperor doing his voodoo stuff, you know, like if they have stuff like that, they'll have me right back. The Force is the one thing that keeps me tethered to Star Wars more than anything else. Spaceships are cool, lightsabers are cool, but the spirituality of the Star Wars universe is by leagues more of what I desire. So that's my garbage take. And I'm sorry I really
wonky space lizards with laser swords.
Yeah.
You know, actually,
You can't I'll say you can't have compelling conversation unless you have like a contrary opinion.
Yeah.
I am not surprised. You know, I did not know you were feeling that way. But also, I had similar feelings of like for a millisecond, and then I was like, I switched to my default, which is
No expectation.
no expectation. It's like, okay, this could be horrible, but at the same time, who knows? Maybe there'll be something. And that's, you know, since the prequels, I've been like that. Like, you know, I'm not gonna expect the second coming because it's just a movie, it's just a TV show, you know.
Yeah.
So what we get is what we get, and hopefully it's good. So I'm pretty much neutral. I have positive hopes, but little expectations. Because who knows? Maybe all that stuff you wanted is going to be in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think even just going back and watching the prequels with my son, because he's now a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Mhm.
Proud daddy.
You like the prequels?
Well, here's the deal. Like, I kind of like shut them off, you know, and I was like, prequels, whatever. But like going back, I think what's helped me appreciate the prequels more and like them better is going back and watching Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that. Well, not Rebels, but well, it's kind of in there. But I think just the fact that it's kind of enriching that story, but also there were some cool things about the prequels And I can't throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to some of the cool things about it.
You're preaching to the choir. You know we're prequel.
Yeah, I know. I still there's still things that I can't stand that ruins it for me. The thing for me is that I don't like it. I have a very poor opinion of something that if they have a part or many parts that take me out of the world, then I'm lost. Like, but going back, there's things that I appreciate about it for sure.
Yeah.
But like things like just the acting choices from Christensen. The line about the sand just drives me bonkers. The whole thing.
All that romantic talk. It was rough.
Awful, and it was writing. I know,
like,
but it's awesome.
George Lucas hired a romance writer for this part.
Can I say something about that? If you're looking to experience Star Wars in new ways and fun ways, I once heard in a podcast that George Lucas very much desired to make the prequels feel like silent films, which is why the music stands out so much from the prequels, but the dialogue stinks. So, if there was a version available somewhere on the internet,
No way.
I don't know if you can still find it, but somebody had re-edited the movies where it just had subtitles, and nobody ever spoke, and it was just the music and the sound effects, and it was glorious. It was so much more enthralling.
Was it the original dialogue, or did they re-subtitle it?
No, it was the original
It was the
dialogue.
original
So you could
dialogue.
read what it said,
Okay.
but you didn't have these like stiff
Yeah.
voices delivering these
Gotcha.
lines. So
Yeah.
it became very. It was more of an emotional experience rather than watching, two people that are very stiff with one another.
Yeah.
I mean, good point about how visually stimulating the prequels were. I mean, there was just so much
Yeah, there was a lot
visual
of visuals.
information. I mean, everything was brand new. And it's man, I ate all that up. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, episode 1.
I mean,
It's gorgeous.
I'm
So
gonna tell you, like,
beautiful. So
yeah, when I
beautiful.
watched them the first time, I was excited. I was buying in, but I think over the course, like just those moments of twinge, cringe. Were
Episode 2 was the worst of all the movies, I believe.
Yeah.
I think, for me, at least.
Mhm.
And part of it was the romantic dialogue. There was some cringy stuff with Hayden Christensen. It wasn't his acting; it was the dialogue. It was his argument. Him arguing with Obi-Wan was just like, I think that was supposed to be cringy. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be like, I don't like that, and But that, and then all the animal writing in episode 2. Horrible. and they put so much CG in that movie that I think they were spread thin. They had CG couches. Why?
I didn't know that.
I mean, there was a CG Obi-Wan's sleeve flapping. I'm like, why? A fan would have been much more affordable. I mean, he just kind of OD'd on the tech, and
There's that classic meme of him sitting down after he previews episode 1. He says, "I may have gone a little too far."
there was more CG in episode 2.
Yeah, but
Oh my god.
that's like the great reference for episode 1. So before we keep poo-pooing on Star Wars,
Yeah.
and
I love it all.
yeah, I mean,
Even episode 2,
you have to
I
love
still
something enough to
love
be able to
episode
criticize
2.
it. I
So
do
many good things
want to
about it.
ask, and we can keep it on Star Wars if you want, but like, what's been your guys' nerdy lately? Like, what have you been like
I'll go.
steeping yourself in love?
I'll go.
Yeah, go.
I just finished Brandon Sanderson's the latest of his Stormlight Chronicles, or Stormlight Archives,
Okay.
and
Is that his own universe?
it's the Cosmere. Yeah, it's his universe. So a lot of his books, most of his books actually, kind of intertwine into the Cosmere. So there's different worlds, and he writes like the Mistborn series is on one, which is basically a different planet, but they're all like combined. And I'm just starting to understand how they're combined, and it's crazy what he does with the characters. But I just finished this monster of a book. It took me forever because I have very little time to read casually, recreationally. But it was a great read. He can be well, especially in this book, he can tend to be long-winded for sure.
Little Tolkien-esque.
Yeah, for sure, man. He describes things to a T, and like a lot of it's like the scientific process, and he gets into it. But I really love the storyline is great, and there's one point where I was like actually choking up as I was reading it, and that's a good sign.
Yes.
And you're like, but it's so I think that's like the biggest thing. I mean, I've been watching Moon Knight as well, which I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But that I've just finished, along with my D&D campaigns and stuff that I think is great, or play-by-post thing. If you listen to the previous episode, you'll learn all about that. But yeah, I think I've become a big Brandon Sanderson fan. I've read his Mistborn series as well, and the thing that I like
Didn't he
about
do a lot of universes too? Did he write other Did he write anything else from any other authors like Ghostwriter or?
Yes, he did Wheel of. He finished Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. Yeah. But his own universes are incredible. I love the way that his creativity in the magic systems that he pulls together. Like different worlds have different magic systems. Like one operates on the ingestion of different metals, and then this other one is like it's called Stormlight because they infuse these gems with like this lightning energy that comes from these storms that sweep across the world that devastate everything, but like give these powers. It's just really cool. So yeah, and then he just announced that he dropped this like reveal that during quarantine he put out this whole Kickstarter thing where he's like, oh yeah, and during quarantine it's a hilarious reveal. He's like, I wrote something, and he drops this manuscript down. And he keeps going a little bit, and he's like, and I wrote some more things, and he like wrote 5 books, 5 books during quarantine, and so he's got this whole thing where he's like got this Kickstarter where you can subscribe. It's like a subscription thing where you can get the books as they drop and everything.
Dude, is that independent of a publisher?
No, I think he's using a publisher for that, but
Because if it was direct to him, that guy.
well, I don't know actually because it's Kickstarter, so it may be his own
Because
publisher.
that's how an author makes a lot of money. I mean, if they have a big name, they buy
I
the
mean, I
publisher.
think one of them was a Stormlight. I hope one of them was a Stormlight because he's still got like that. This is a long. It's on book 4, and I think he's got like 8 at least planned. So
I'm
that's
thinking
a lot
about
of
that.
reading.
There's like 3 authors I can think of that would be like, man, I really wish they did that during the pandemic.
Yeah. Patrick Rothfuss.
Yes!
J.R.R. Martin. Who did you say?
Patrick Rothfuss.
And his King Killer
Chronicles.
Oh man, I've been waiting for
Dante,
book 3 on that.
You gotta read it, man. It's
Is that
so
fantasy?
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will take
It's
note.
if you took.
I have some friends that are looking for some new fantasies.
Oh my gosh, idiots do.
Oh man, how would you describe it? It's like if you took Harry Potter and mixed it with a Lord of the Rings vibe.
Modern day setting.
No, it's fantasy setting. It's like high
Yeah.
fantasy.
But there's so much good lore and myth in there as well. Like it's just the world is really fleshed out. The other one I thought about was Pierce Brown. Like, come on.
Well, yeah.
Where's the right? Where's our next Red Rising novel?
Pierce. Yeah, that one too. That one too.
Before we go on, Sanderson, I've heard a lot about. I've never read him, but my writing group keeps on bringing him up. Hey, he has these free YouTube courses on writing, and they're all fans. So I'm looking forward to getting into that.
I'll say the other thing that I really like about him is the way he tackles certain subjects in a fantasy realm is really like he kind of comments on a hierarchical system. He comments on slavery in a sense, and in a way that's it's just really it's deep. It's really cool. Just goes into that. Go ahead.
So, me too. I'm running a role-playing game campaign in the Rifts world. So that has a lot of my attention right now, and I'm pulling in a lot from that universe, but I'm pulling stuff into it. I'm wondering what to throw at them next. So I'm really into Rifts right now. But besides that, I'm watching and playing a lot of Halo.
Yeah.
Halo episode 4 comes out this week, and it's probably going to be episode 6 by the time this thing drops. But yeah, Halo 4 comes out this week, and Picard. I'm watching a lot of Trek. I got the Paramount thing, so it's like I'm watching some Trek. Picard is one of my favorites. So yeah, that's what I've been geeking out on.
In like a couple of sentences, can you give me your impressions on the state of Star Trek at this time?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yes, I can.
I just
want to know where you stand because I hear a lot of different views on where Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Did I say Star Wars earlier?
I don't know.
I heard that. I heard Trek.
Play it back.
So.
Rotate.
It's hard to say. So it's wonderful that there's so much Trek right now. It's almost like the late '90s where there were so many like Next Generation just ended, but you had Voyager, you had Deep Space Nine, and there was a lot of Trek going on at that point. Now there's even more series coming out. At the same time, we have Discovery, we have Picard, we have got Lower Decks, we've got the child show. I can't remember what it is, and then there's a new show about to drop. So
That's a lot of Trek.
that's a lot of Trek.
That is a lot of Trek.
Now within this Trek, there is some Trek. There is some. There's some stuff that's like But with a lot of the media coming out now, it's like, okay, I can just bypass that. I'm not going to think about the garbage there. I'm just going to try to focus on the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I'm loving Picard. It's kind of... I love Patrick Stewart. I once had a conversation with him.
I once served
What?
William Shatner his latte and oatmeal.
What?
Yeah, it's Starbucks. Starbucks in LA. I had a lot of star meetings.
Okay, we're gonna have to have just a separate video on that. We don't want to hear about that. But it's hard watching Patrick Stewart, you know, in his older years. When we watched young Picard and the Next Generation, just being a boss, man. And now he's, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, whoa, it comes to us all, you know. He's aged a lot, so it's kind of rough. And I found that with the first season too. It was like, wow, it's hard to watch Picard, kind of, because you know here's your hero and it's, you know, getting older. Anyways, but it's good. It's a good storyline. I'm enjoying it. But it's not the '90s. It's not the late '90s where it was high Trek, you know. And I think I don't know what the fandom's like, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm excited that there's a lot of Trek. Like I said, varying quality, you know, with some of the stuff that they're putting out with it. But overall, I'm enjoying it.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, man. I've been like smashing audiobooks left and right, to be honest. Been playing a lot of Halo Infinite, and usually when I play Halo Infinite, I have my phone right here on my shoulder playing an audiobook as I'm
I'll listen to
either
podcasts.
demolishing or getting demolished.
I'll listen to podcasts.
I listen to a lot of Timcast. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Getting my
Speaking-
political flavors.
Yeah,
of the week.
speaking of recent geeking out, I told you about it, but the left-right game, that's another thing I just finished.
The way you described it, I'm very like apprehensive to start it now.
What's the left-right game?
Dude.
Is that the thing on the phone where you're going like this, like that?
Dude.
No. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Okay.
Just check it out. Just check it out. Just check out the first episode.
Yeah.
See what you think.
It's a game? It's a show?
No, it's a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, the book series that I've been into lately, so there's an author named Jeremy Robinson, and a coworker of mine introduced me to him with a book called Infinite, which was like this dude who basically was immortal, traveling through space alone, and decides to come up with a program to help him escape reality. And some stuff goes down on the ship to ruin that program, and it's really intense. And then a second book came out where all these different realities were coming out of the program that he made, and because of like some space-time continuum thing, it essentially exploded into a multiverse. And there are all these other books that my coworker and I have been reading that we're suddenly picking up on subtle things that connect to to all these other books we've been reading by the same author.
Yeah.
Like Stephen
And we're
King
like,
and the
Stephen
Dark
King.
Tower.
Yeah.
Holy cow, this is
Rift!
Sanderson.
Yeah. So it I'm on a book called Mind Bullet now, and
Mind Bullets.
yeah, it's just been nuts. So I've been really enjoying that. It's really between those two things that have kind of occupied a lot of my time, and then reading the X-Men, Powers of X. So
How are you enjoying that?
Powers of X. So I'm not that far into it just yet, but it is establishing a kind of. I don't know exactly what this Xavier is planning, and he could be very villainous at the moment. Like it's leading me in directions where I'm kind of like, I'm not sure I trust the X-Men right now. Like I don't know what they want.
It's a really
Yeah.
drastic like shift in the X universe.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's Hickman.
And it's keeping a lot of the same themes. I mean, Hickman has his everything is attached, right? But it is the X-Men are like, whoa, quantum leap. This is
Yeah.
you know
So Hickman did that to me with Avengers when.
his Avengers run.
Yeah, where it's just like you don't
End
want
of
to trust
time.
any of the Avengers
And
anymore.
what was
Yeah.
it? And like
Out of
everything
time
ends.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That was such a good run.
Yeah, what?
Hickman is so good. We love you, Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah, please come on our podcast.
That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. I could probably.
Yeah.
He's on Twitter. He's responded to me on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
Please. You know.
You know who else could probably get on? Thompson.
Oh
Who?
man.
So, I have a very good friend of mine who is one of the main authors for the audiobooks, the Star Wars audiobooks.
For some of the viewers, I'm just gonna flex right now.
Here's my friend. Name drop.
Yeah. Actually have they just released the Star Wars is going back and redoing some of the Legends books in Audible, audio format, and they're going back and doing the X-Wing series, which Michael Lee Stackpole and all those greats. Mark Thompson has been doing those, and they just dropped the second book, and it's like the very next thing in my queue. Every time I listen to it, it's like I'm listening to a friend. I'm so. I loved hearing him do the books. I mean, I've been listening to him for some of the High Republic stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, Star Wars High Republic is a gem.
Yeah.
I've been treasuring everything that's been coming out of that because it's so
I gotta check it out.
I was about to cancel my comic book subscription for the High Republic.
I haven't read any of the comics, but the novels have been great.
Wait, back to this Bart Thompson. Is he performer? He's speaking.
Yeah, he's a voice actor.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
he does a lot of Thor for the animated stuff.
I thought you said he wrote.
No. Yeah,
It
he's
was like
a voice
what?
actor.
Okay, but still, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And because when you started going into he's doing the EU stuff, I was like, what are they making it canon now? They're rewriting it. They're just putting it out.
They're putting them out there with
Slow
quality.
running out of gas.
Yeah.
I also say Critical Role. I'm always on that too. I'm always up to date with Critical Role campaigns.
Can't wait to start Critical Role.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
get ready. Oh, that's a monster.
Is it sad to say
But
that
it's
the cartoon Legend of Vox Machina is kind of, or Vox Machina has kind of like simmered out like Critical Role?
Cooled you down?
For lately.
So I shouldn't start with the cartoon.
I would definitely go straight to the source on that one.
Yeah, I love the cartoon. I thought it was a great adaptation.
It was fun.
It's
But
definitely
I'm kind of like.
Definitely adult. But so is the podcast. So NSFW. But I thought they did a great job with the cartoons. Yeah.
Legend of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime.
Yippers.
Yep. So, thanks for joining us again, Brittany.
Hey,
I
it's
really
great to be
appreciate
here.
it, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
We will
Thanks for being here.
definitely bring you back. This has been
I'm
so much fun.
I'm coming back whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Someone will kick me off.
We goes where I live. If
You want to see Mark Johnson? You better have
Great, now the bribes start, and eventually he's going to be sitting in my seat. Welcome to Mechs. This is the Brandon show.
It's like Shimcast.
Yeah.
This is the Brandon show.
We have enough that we know.
Oh my gosh, yes we do. Wow.
Lots of Brandons in this sphere. So.
Well, this has been Mechs, Myth, and Magic episode 8. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell. Or the bell and the like button. The bell's more for YouTube. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
Maximum stars. Thumbs up.
Yes, please. Rate the podcast. Leave a comment. Get involved. If email us if you want.
Share with your nerd friends.
Tell us what you want to hear about.
And if you think, if you disagree with our opinions, tell us what your opinions are.
Yes.
What's that? What's the email? What is the email?
Good question.
It's mechsmythmagic@gmail.com.
Yeah?
Mechs,
Alright.
mythmagic@gmail.com.
Yeah. Drop us a line if you'd like to just tell me how garbage my opinions really are. I will appreciate that.
You open the door.
You're on the internet. You can't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Anyway. Well, it's been a blast, guys. So.
Yeah.
It's
been great.
This is us wishing you a good time wherever you are, and remember, you define your own fandom.
Excelsior!